How do you recover from the hangover of a Super Bowl loss? You add talent and you stock up to do it again. The Kansas City Chiefs are our next team in our 3-round mock draft series. I'm Jeremy Green of ESPN Radio Asheville and NFLDraft.net, and this is the 3-round mock draft pre-combine for the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm unapologetic. Look, there's no nice way to say this. Kansas City got smacked in the mouth in the Super Bowl, but I have seen this before out of this team, and what did they do? They lathered up, and they fixed every deficiency, and they came back bigger and meaner and stronger, and that's what I think they do here. We start out pick 31. This is a kid that if the medical at the Combine comes back clean, he probably won't be here, but I have him here for now because I'm not sure how clean it can come back. Josh Simmons, offensive tackle out of Ohio State. The tape on him is absolutely tantalizing as a pass blocker. Allowed no sacks, allowed no hits, allowed one hurry in 6 games for Ohio State this year. Well, but he only played 6 games. All right, let's go back a year. Allowed 1 sack, 4 hits, and 10 hurries in 2023. In terms of just raw skill, if there were no injury issues, this kid would be a top 10 pick. But he blew his ACL out after 6 games at Ohio State, and we don't know exactly where he's at. You're going to find out at the Combine. If it comes back clean, he probably goes a little higher than this, but I'm not positive because there is still an ACL injury issue, and he spent the first part of his career at San Diego State, which doesn't give you a great amount of tape because there's not a ton of defense played in that conference. But the raw of him, I think he's a day one starter. You push Joe Thuney back into guard. Then you've got Thuney. Kingsley Sua-Mateo replaces Trey Smith, who I do think they're going to lose in free agency. You got Creed Humphrey. You got Juwan Taylor on the right side. You have improved this offensive line. Now, as for what beat you in the Super Bowl, which was pass rush, I'm going to add 2 players for you there as well. Your pick in the second round, number 63, Omarr Norman-Lott from Tennessee. 18.9% pass rush win rate. Not great against the run. I think he can hold up in it. Tennessee, and I live literally less than an hour from the campus of the University of Tennessee. Tennessee really rotates their players at a rate that I don't know that I've ever seen from a defensive line. I'm not saying he can't defend the run. I think Josh Heupel just viewed him as so good as a pass rusher that they didn't want to use his snaps in run defense. He literally played less than 300 run snaps in 3 years at Tennessee. But the pass rush is intoxicating from him. He jumps off on tape. The thought of him and Chris Jones next to each other in the middle of that Kansas City defense is absolutely insane. You do have to worry about conditioning with him a little bit. He showed up, I think, a little heavy at the Senior Bowl. He didn't jump off the page in the week in Mobile, but he did come back after – I don't think it was an injury. I think it was a conditioning issue. He did come back, and there were some spark plays from him. I love this kid, but that week in Mobile keeps him at the back end of round 2 as opposed to being elevated. I will be keeping a close eye on him this week at the Combine. Number 63, Omarr Norman-Lott to the Kansas City Chiefs. Pick 66 from the L'Jarius Sneed trade, and now we're going to add an outside pass rusher. Josaiah Stewart, edge out of Michigan. The same thing that I just said about Omarr Norman-Lott, I can say about Josaiah Stewart. Only played 440 snaps last year. That's a negative. Here's the positive. His pass rush win rate was 27.3%, which is absolutely insane, and he holds up against the run. He didn't have to do it a lot. Only 168 run snaps this past year. Plays outside the tackle. He's a hand in the dirt, 4-3 defensive end, maybe 3-4 outside linebacker. I think he's too small for that. He needs to be on a team like Kansas City that has 2 gigantic hog mollies in this situation on the inside of him and allows him to work one-on-one with tackles. The pass rush moves out of him are intoxicating. He's a situational pass rusher right now with the ability to develop into a 3-down guy moving forward. Pick 66, Josaiah Stewart out of Michigan. One more selection, and another thing that I think Kansas City needs desperately is a back to pair with Isaiah Pacheco that's actually a higher-level pass-catching back. So at 95, TreVeyon Henderson, running back out of Ohio State. The good thing for Kansas City is that both Ohio State running backs are still on the board here. They split touches to such a point that I think they both get pushed down. TreVeyon Henderson has never had a year with more than 156 carries. the entire time he's been at Ohio State. But when he's had the ball in his hand, he has been damn near impossible to bring down. 21 carries of 15-plus yards last year, 643 yards after contact. He doesn't break tackles particularly well. His elusive rating is not as high as you would think it would be, but 4.43 yards after contact per attempt. I do think TreVeyon Henderson can be a nice piece of a committee, and you give him to Pat Mahomes, you pair him with Isaiah Pacheco, and I think that offense, I'm not going to say it's fixed. You don't really line up for any of the receivers, and I think you want a more veteran presence as opposed to trying to add another young guy in the receiving core. So here at 95, TreVeyon Henderson, running back out of Ohio State. If you like these picks and you like this mock, click the thumbs up button at the bottom of the screen and click the subscribe button so that you can see all of our content. Next week, 2025 NFL Scouting Combine. We're there from pillar to post. I'm coming in on Monday. I'll be there for the interviews. Tuesday and Wednesday, workouts all day. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And we're covering it all right here on YouTube in the Sportsocracy. You can follow me on Twitter at ESPN Draft Nerd. And you can follow us noon Eastern time every single weekday. We run our ESPN radio show right here on YouTube. You can also listen to it live on ESPN Radio or the iHeartRadio app. Just search the Sportsocracy. I'm Jeremy Green of ESPN Radio Asheville and NFLDraft.net, and this has been a 3-round mock draft for the Kansas City Chiefs.
I'm unapologetic. Cancel, yeah, you can try. You can't cancel what's been tonight. I ain't been handed shit, no silver spoon inheritance. Tired of trying to be what other people want me to be, and now you get what you see.